Hello, this is Dr. Grande. Today I will analyze the case of Sherry Lee Heffernan. First, I'll look at the background of this case, move to the timeline of the crime, then offer my analysis. Sherry Lee Heffernan was born on July 6, 1966, and was raised in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. Her father's name was John Enders. He went by the name Jack. Her mother's name was Della Ferguson. Sherry had one older sister named Terry. This was long before the television show The Simpsons, which of course also featured sisters named Sherry and Terry. Sherry's father Jack served in the U.S. Air Force during the Korean War and earned a degree in mechanical engineering. He worked as a home builder. In 2001, Sherry's mother died. Her father Jack moved from Pennsylvania to Surf City, New Jersey. This town is on Long Beach Island in Ocean County. Jack lived in a 6-bedroom, 2,500 square foot house on North 7th Street. This house sits right on Barnegat Bay. The same year his wife died, 2001, Jack met a woman named Françoise Petois, who went by the name Frenchie. She had been born in France. Jack and Frenchie became romantically involved, and Frenchie spent a lot of time in Jack's house on North 7th Street. At around the same time, Jack became estranged from his daughter Terry. However, he continued to communicate with Sherry. For her career, Sherry worked as a real estate agent in both New Jersey and Maryland, even though she lived in Landenberg, Pennsylvania. As far as her romantic life, Sherry married, had a son named JJ, and divorced. Sometime around 2021, Sherry's father Jack decided that he wanted to sell the house on North 7th Street. He listed the house with Sherry, but the house did not sell. He decided to list the house with another agent, which probably made Sherry upset. In May or June 2021, Jack cut Sherry completely out of his will, although it's not clear if she was aware of this change. By September 2021, Jack's house was under contract for $1.9 million. It was scheduled to close on October 11. With a lot of money coming his way soon, Jack talked about moving to the Florida Keys, presumably along with his girlfriend Frenchie. Now moving to the timeline of the crime. On Sunday, October 3, 2021, at 1:54 p.m., Frenchie's relatives contacted the police in Surf City, New Jersey, and requested a welfare check on Frenchie. They had not been able to reach her for several days. This was out of the ordinary. At about 4 p.m., the Surf City police paid a visit to Jack's house on North 7th Street because Frenchie was known to live there. There was no answer at the door, but an officer forced entry after looking through the window and seeing what appeared to be a body. Here is what the police found during the course of their investigation. 87-year-old Jack Enders was found dead, sitting in a recliner in the living room. He had been shot in the face, stabbed 51 times, and sustained blunt force trauma. 75-year-old Frenchie Petois was found dead at the bottom of the stairs. She had been shot once in the face and stabbed 39 times. There had been no forced entry into the house until the police broke in. All the windows and doors had been locked. 2 spent 9mm cases were found in the house. They came from a Glock 17 semi-automatic pistol. There were bloody footprints in many areas of the house, as if the killer walked around quite a bit after committing the murders. There was blood all over one upstairs bathroom, consistent with the perpetrator cleaning up after the murders. Valuables were left in plain sight, so robbery did not seem like a probable motive. The police believed that the attack started in an upstairs bedroom. The perpetrator shot both Jack and Frenchie. The killer then forced Jack downstairs into the recliner in the living room and stabbed him repeatedly. Frenchie managed to make her way downstairs after being shot, only to be stabbed at the bottom of the stairs. Based on talking to people who had communicated with the couple, the police realized that they must have been murdered 4 days earlier, on September 29, 2021. They looked for all the surveillance video they could find in the area. Here's what they discovered. On the day of the murder, at 4:48 a.m., a recreational vehicle was captured driving on Route 72 eastbound onto Long Beach Island. It was a 2003 Winnebago RV built on a Ford chassis. 10 minutes later, at 4:58 a.m., another camera captured the same RV approaching Jack's house on North 7th Street. An hour after this, at 5:48 a.m., the vehicle was once again captured on the same street, this time driving away from Jack's house. At 5:53 a.m., a mysterious figure could be seen walking on North 7th Street toward Jack's house. At 6:52 a.m., a person could be seen climbing over the fence in the backyard of Jack's house. At 6:58 a.m., the Winnebago RV was captured on Route 72 westbound, leaving Long Beach Island. An automatic license plate reader captured the plate. The vehicle was registered to Sherry Heffernan. She was arrested on October 4, 2021, and charged with 2 counts of murder and 4 counts of possession of a weapon for an unlawful purpose. On November 5 of that year, Sherry had a curious phone call from jail. When talking to a friend, Sherry explained how she had a camera which contained proof that she did not commit the murders. Sherry claimed that during the time of the murders, she was on the beach taking photographs for over an hour and a half. People saw her there. She was definitely at the beach. Sherry's friend mentioned how the police had a video of her RV right outside Jack's house. Sherry responded, quote, "Yeah, it doesn't mean I was driving it. It doesn't mean I went in the house," unquote. To explain blood found in her recreational vehicle, Sherry said that it could have been her own blood or it could have been from her dogs. As it turns out, Sherry had taken photographs at the beach near her father's house, but not on the day of the murders, September 29, rather 2 days earlier, on September 27. The police believe this trip was a scouting mission in preparation for the murders. In January 2022, while Sherry was in jail, her father's house sold for $1.7 million. It's possible this price difference could be explained by the murder part. Properties where homicides occur are considered to be less desirable by some. The impact of homicide on real estate prices was the least of Sherry's concerns. She had to face trial for murder. On March 1, 2024, Sherry Heffernan was convicted on all counts. On May 10 of that same year, she was sentenced to 2 terms of life in prison with the possibility of parole after 127 and a half years. Sherry will be eligible for parole on April 15, 2149, when she will be 182 years old. Therefore, she cannot complain about having nothing to look forward to. Now moving to my analysis. Sherry Heffernan maintains her innocence. She claimed that she was framed for the murders. The state of New Jersey, of course, disagrees. They are pleased with the convictions and the 2 life sentences. This brings me to the question, was Sherry guilty of murder? Let's take a look at the evidence both for and against the idea that she was guilty, starting with the inculpatory factors. Sherry had a motive to commit the murders in the form of her father switching real estate agents. Her commission on the sale of such an expensive house would have been substantial. Furthermore, Jack cut Sherry out of his will. On September 27, 2021, 2 days before the murders, Sherry visited Surf City, New Jersey. The police discovered that she had a camera containing images of Jack's house. Sherry's Winnebago RV was captured on video arriving before the murders and leaving afterward. Blood was found in the RV. A person believed to be the perpetrator of the murders was captured on video outside of Jack's house. By comparing the killer to the fence that the killer was standing next to, the police calculated the height at 5'8". Sherry was 5'8". The weight of the killer could only be estimated, but Sherry appeared to be about the same weight. Jack's other family members were excluded because they were too tall or too heavy. Sherry was the only one who matched. Images captured of Sherry when she visited Jack's house on September 27 look a lot like the perpetrator captured on September 29. Inside Jack's house, the police found footprints and blood. These were matched to Sherry. As I mentioned, a Glock 17 pistol was used in the murders. In Sherry's house, the police found a receipt for a Glock 17, but they could not find the weapon. Sherry had many other firearms. The Glock 17 was the only one missing. The police found a copy of Jack's will on Sherry's dining room table. The document, which was written in August 2017, indicated that she was the sole beneficiary. This makes it seem like getting an inheritance was on Sherry's mind. Sherry had a video surveillance system at her house in Landenberg, Pennsylvania. She was captured entering her Winnebago RV on September 29 at about 1 a.m. Cell phone data indicated that her phone traveled to Jack's house in Surf City, New Jersey. It was deactivated at about 5 a.m. The phone was reactivated at about 9 a.m. By this time, it was back in Pennsylvania. Sherry could be seen entering her house at 8 p.m. She was wearing different clothing. Moving to the exculpatory factors, having the will from 2017 on her dining room table suggests that Sherry may not have known about the new will, which left her nothing. Again, Jack cut her out of his will in May or June of 2021. This could eliminate part of her motive. It's technically possible, albeit extremely unlikely, that Sherry visited her father's house after the murders took place. This explains why her footprints were found in blood. That's pretty much it for exculpatory factors. When considering all the evidence in this case, do I think that Sherry Heffernan is guilty of murder? Yes, she is guilty beyond just about any doubt. In order for Sherry to be innocent, an unlikely sequence of events will be necessary. Sherry climbed into her RV for a late-night drive where the real killer was waiting with Sherry's Glock 17. The killer kidnapped Sherry, drove to Surf City, New Jersey, murdered Jack and Frenchie, forced Sherry to walk around the house to leave footprints, then gave her the keys to the RV so she could drive home to Pennsylvania. Either Sherry was guilty or she was framed by a master criminal with skills beyond any criminal who has ever lived in the history of the planet Earth. What do I think happened in this case? This is just a theory, my opinion. Sherry Heffernan was self-centered, impulsive, irresponsible, vindictive, petty, calculating, violent, and had a sense of entitlement. She had a strained relationship with her father, Jack, but had not contemplated killing him. This changed after he took away the house listing. Sherry became enraged. It's not clear if she knew about being cut out of the will, but if she did know, that only made her more angry. She believed that everything Jack owned should belong to her. In Sherry's mind, Jack's girlfriend, Frenchie, was using Jack for his money. She viewed Frenchie as a competitor. They were both trying to obtain Jack's money and property. This supplied Sherry with a motive to kill Frenchie. On September 29, 2021, Sherry drove her Winnebago RV to Surf City, New Jersey, and brutally murdered Jack and Frenchie. She walked her father downstairs into the living room and placed him in a chair so she could look him in the eyes as she stabbed him repeatedly. It was very important to Sherry that Jack knew the identity of his killer. Without this, the revenge plot would have been incomplete, and Sherry would have been left unsatisfied. It was not part of her plan, but Sherry also made the identity of the killer clear to everyone through the many mistakes that she made. There was never any doubt about who the killer was. After being arrested, Sherry denied responsibility. At her sentencing, she told the judge that she would rather be dead than be blamed for the murders. As far as Jack and Frenchie, they were priceless people who she would forever miss. It appears as though Sherry will never give up playing the victim. She will be trapped for life in a prison in the state of New Jersey. This, of course, is a horrible fate of unimaginable proportions. Being in prison doesn't sound too good either. Now moving to my final thoughts. At first glance, one might see this case as involving 3 lives being destroyed: Jack, Frenchie, and Sherry. There is no question that the lives of Jack and Frenchie were destroyed, but Sherry's situation may be a little bit different. She wanted revenge so much, she may have been fine with taking a magical prison journey. Sherry attempted to avoid being caught, but must have known life in prison was a likely outcome. This may have simply been a transaction from her point of view. The cost of murder was life in prison, and to Sherry, it was a fair price for revenge. Those are my thoughts in the case of Sherry Heffernan. Thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you soon.